This is the stock recommendation report for ExxonMobil. Um, and overall, I would recommend a strong buy on ExxonMobil, and this is due to a lot of reasons. Some dealing on the economic level, dealing with what is happening over in Russia at the present moment, and the potential that I see in Exxon's expansion into Europe, especially in Ukraine. But for the present moment, I'll concentrate a little bit more on the ratios. Um, if you notice, the PEG ratio for Exxon is around 4.0, and if you compare it directly to its other competitors, it seems like it may be a little overvalued, as a lower PEG or PEG ratio will indicate a good value for a company, or a company that might be undervalued and would be a good buy. But when comparing Exxon to the industry has a 5.68 PEG, so it's doing actually well compared to its industry, which makes it a little undervalued and a good buy in the industry. When we look at the PE ratio, we notice that Exxon is at 12.72, and its competitors are less than that. Its direct competitors with BP and Chevron, but we notice again that it still is beneath the industry average. And also, if you look at the PE ratio, this is another indicator of how a company's value is compared to its price compared to its earnings. And we see that Exxon is a little bit more expensive on the PE ratio, but you cannot base your recommendation solely off this. And then I wanted to point out Exxon has a ROE of, let's see if we can get that on there, but the ROE is at 19%, which is, after looking it up on the online, is pretty average for its industry, and that is a return that the company gets on the money that it has invested in it. The operating profit margin for Exxon is at about 11%, which is below the industry of 17%. It's not great news for Exxon in buying the stock, but it also will not hinder us from choosing this. Now I want to come to the graph a little bit, and we see that we have Exxon that's in the blue, we have BP, a direct competitor, in the green, and Chevron, which is another direct competitor, in the red. The purple is the Dow, or the index that Exxon trades in, and we're looking at the relationships between those. And we see that Exxon has, for the most part, paralleled with the Dow as far as when the Dow goes up, Exxon is usually up, and when the Dow is going down, Exxon is usually staying right with it. You can, because Exxon has such a high market cap, we call them a mega company. We call it a mega company because of its market cap being so high. It seems like it is one of the big drivers of the Dow index, and could be a big reason why they are moving at the similarly to one another. And you see its competitors, BP, is up a little bit right now. But as for right now, as for recommending Exxon as a stock, it's a pretty safe buy because it is a large company. It has an upward trend in its stock price over. This is a 1-year graph. If we jog down to the 5-year graph, we notice a little bit more of the trend that Exxon has, which is a slight upward trend as it goes along. We know that through the years, this is a stock that will continue to go up, which is why I recommend a strong buy. Especially at this present moment, I want to focus a little bit more on what's happening in Russia. And so in Russia right now, they are looking, the Western world, mostly the United States and Europe, are looking to stifle them economically, to punish them for what they have done in the Crimea region of the Ukraine. Because of this, we know that Russia is a big net exporter in commodities. Their number one being natural gas, number two palladium, number three is potash. What impact this could have is if the Western world cuts off Ukraine economically or stifles them, then we would expect, if the Western world cuts off Russia to that, we would expect Russia to retaliate by then not exporting its natural gas to the Ukraine and to the rest of Europe, because it is one of the biggest suppliers to Europe of natural gas, and we would expect the demand for this in other countries, especially the United States, to increase. And with Exxon being a company that is part of the exploration of oil and gas, we would expect them to go into countries internationally, especially over in Europe, and especially the Ukraine, which is rich in these fossil fuels, and we would expect Exxon to capitalize on this situation and become one of the new suppliers for Europe in natural gas. And for that reason, I also recommend a strong buy, because the potential is there for Exxon to tap into that market and become one of the big market players over there, as they are already an international company. They know how to handle business internationally, and I believe that that they will capitalize on this. And I would again recommend a strong buy on ExxonMobil. Thank you.